Well, joining me now to talk more about the conflict in South Sudan is Nii Akuetteh, a member of the TransAfrica Forum's Scholars Council and the former Executive Director of Africa Action. Nii, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Well, as we heard in that report there, the violence has got even worse now. It's escalating over there, and we heard the UN Secretary General say that it's a situation of mounting urgency. Is this likely to get even worse?
I think so. It's one of the very worrisome situations. I mean, unfortunately, African countries are no strangers to conflict, but this is one of the more worrisome ones. And in many ways, it came as a surprise because the conflict in South Sudan has been between the largest Sudan, Khartoum, and South Sudan. Now, this is internal, it is ethnic, the soldiers are divided, and then the two leading political leaders are divided, and then you've got ordinary people in the two different ethnic groups going after each other. So, all in all, it's a very explosive situation.
Well, let's take a few steps back and look at the background to this. So you had President Salva Kiir,
Yes.
and then you had the Vice President, Riek Machar.
Yes.
Was there a fallout here at some point that led to this conflict erupting?
Absolutely. In fact, back in the summer, in July, President Kiir sacked his entire cabinet. A lot of observers said, and to me it was credible, that his number one target actually was his Vice President, Riek Machar. But he sacked the whole cabinet, brought some together. There's been friction between them for a while because people have said that, number one, Riek Machar, the former vice president, is very ambitious, and he has said he wants to run for president. There's nothing wrong with that. On the other side, there have been people who have said that President Kiir is not running a good administration. Now, all this is very new, so how to weigh who is more credible? The only thing was, when it started about a week ago, last Sunday, President Kiir said this is an attempted coup. To me, it sounded fishy because usually attempted coups are contained within the military. But these are spread among people, and it seems to be ethnic Nuers versus Dinkas.
Well, at the moment, there's about 7,000 UN peacekeeping troops there, and we just heard in that report that the UN will be asked to approve more troops being sent there. We also understand that the United States is sending its troops in there, 150 poised to enter South Sudan.
Yes.
Ostensibly, they will be there to look after American interests, look after American citizens, as well as American diplomats. What is the likelihood of these troops being drawn into this conflict?
The likelihood is high. Now, of course, with the United States, what had happened was that on Saturday, troops in three aircraft were trying to get to board to extricate Americans and other foreigners there, and they were fired upon, and 4 American soldiers were injured, and so they turned back, and then they returned Sunday and extricated these people. And it seems to me, therefore, the Americans moved more because the first 3 aircraft had no protection. So now they have more firepower, but most of them are still in the Horn of Africa to be flown into South Sudan. But you are right. I mean, we've heard issues about Kenya eyeing the situation. We've heard about Uganda. In fact, the vice president, the former vice president, has claimed that Ugandan aircraft were bombing his positions. So the risk of the neighbors being pulled into this fight is very dangerous. I therefore think that the UN, and what the Secretary General is saying, I hope that the troops will be gathered very quickly, 5,500 to add to the 7,000 so that they can impose some order. Because if countries go in individually, right, I fear that it's going to inflame the situation.
Okay, Nii, we're going to have to leave it there. Nii Akuetteh, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.